Well, like I had said, today we're going over holistic therapies and practices to help anxiety and depression. I'm the host, Michael. I know. From BrainWorks, ASBISG.org, the nonprofit organization we have doing brain injury support. If anybody would like to join in and you guys are on Facebook, I left the link there so you can click on it and become a participant to talk to us and share the conversation together. So I hope all goes well, and I'm nobody perfect, so I will have my hiccups every now and then. Bear with me 1 second. I want to make sure my laptop doesn't go dead. I just realized the basics. Plug it in. As I said, I am human. Okay. Do I have anybody that wrote something here? Let me see. There's a chat window. Who was that? Meredith said, you could barely hear me. It's not on. You guys all hear me okay, I think, because I haven't heard any other complaints and we've been talking.
It's better now.
Okay. Oh, good. Yeah, it may be the volume on your end. Okay, beautiful. Okay.
I have a question though.
What's up?
I'm sure you're going to go over this, but I was just wondering what you consider holistic therapy.
You're going to see a lot of things that I'm going to mention, but it's pretty much the type of things that you could do from home, you do for yourself. It's you taking care of you without the dire need for it. I mean, some people need medication, but it's really taking care of things on your own. I mean, I know I sell them here even in my store as oils and things like that are good for you, therapeutic needs for people. But I'm trying to focus. When I say holistic, it means not medicinal, like things you could do for yourself, like meditation, breathing exercises, social services that we can do with each other, helping one another out, things like that. Does that make sense?
Yep, thank you.
Okay. I know you're a barrage of information, so I was like, let me see what she's going to say. I know you always have a lot of resources, which is wonderful. So, no complaints. Okay. Well, first off, I'm going to start off talking about what anxiety and depression really are, because some people either associate one or the other, but they're both highs and lows on a spectrum, one to each extreme. Middle of the road is where we want to be, and that's you guys can't. I'm sitting here using my hands, and you guys can't even see me. But it's about finding a happy medium. Not one extreme or the other, highs or lows. Anxiety and depression are two of the most common mental health concerns in our society. They're often expressed as a complex set of emotional and functional challenges. Many people struggle with serious questions about their symptoms, and they're including, how do I know if I'm having depression or anxiety? What are the best treatments for anxiety and depression? Should I try psychotherapy or prescription medication? What are some holistic remedies I can use to relieve my symptoms? Like I said, self-help. And the last one is, other than medication, what else can I do to cope with anxiety and depression? And we're going to go over all of those details. Next one. Oh boy, I can't see the top of my screen. How about that? Give me a second. Okay. What causes anxiety and depression? Most of us know this. Some people don't. Some people don't understand what's going on with them. And it sounds like kind of obvious, but it really, it's hard to determine. I don't have a problem personally with depression, but I do have anxiety, either whether it's good or bad. I'll have anxiety about something I'm excited about, but I don't have those lows. And some people have anxiety attacks, and that's usually generally very negative, and it can be very detrimental and risky. Depression and anxiety disorders are different, but they often occur together. Underlying triggers can include nutritional, psychological, physical, emotional, environmental, social, and spiritual factors, as well as the genetic tendencies or brain disease. A lot of people don't know that, but depression and anxiety is very genetic because usually it runs in a family or something like that. Of course, unless some people go through catastrophic events in their life that causes those types of things. But for the average person, depression goes through usually like a family trait. It hits some people and some people it doesn't. But it's usually, if it hits one person, there's generally something around in the area, or it could be in the area of a family. What are symptoms of anxiety and depression? This is purely educational. That's why I do these presentations. So it's not uncommon for people with depression to experience anxiety, along with symptoms such as nervousness, irritability, and trouble sleeping. Likewise, anxious people can become depressed and experience low energy or a loss of interest in life. People suffering from anxiety or depression can have a broad range of experiences. Some may have mild symptoms of anxiety and depression, while others may experience debilitating anxiety attacks or severe depression. Symptoms that may also fluctuate from different episodes of periods of relief. And that's the highs and lows I was talking about before. Sometimes it's just life, things happen and you just had enough, especially when they quadruple, like they pile up. I say you can only pour so much into a cup and then it overflows. And that happens from time to time. It's just life. Question here, what about treatments for anxiety and depression? Just as there are many different experiences of anxiety and depression, there's also a variety of options for treatment and coping techniques to help manage your system. The recommendations in this section take an integrative mental health approach, which incorporates health-promoting lifestyle changes, evidence-based holistic therapies and healing practices, and mainstream interventions, including psychosocial therapies and the judicious use of prescription medicine. That's what I was saying. Medication is a good Band-Aid, but there's got to be a long-term, because medications sometimes don't work all the time, and then you've got to worry about dosages and things like that. So I'm going to go over 10 little things. There's 10 things here that you could do on your own, and this is a big one. That's what I try to endorse on a regular basis, because no matter where we are or what's going on, you're in control of the situation. The situation doesn't have to control you. I'm a big advocate on that. So I hope you don't mind. I'm not trying to insult anybody, but it is you. You decide how you're going to think, and that's the bottom line here. One of the 10, I'll start off reading them off, is breathing. Slow exhalation helps relax the body. Number 2, move your body. Do something productive with yourself, and it gets your mind going and increases blood flow and oxygen to your brain, and also inhibits endorphins in your body. Number 3, spend time in nature. Nothing's better, especially when it's nice out, than to go out and get a distraction and enjoy the things that are around you, because it's a beautiful life out there. Everything around us has energy, positive energy, life and movement and things like that. And that is wonderful for your soul, for your body, for your mind, everything. A big one, I'm a big, huge thing for it, but I'm also a culprit because I don't do enough of it, is get regular replenishing sleep. Rest is huge, because when you're resting, you're getting more oxygen to your brain, you're relaxing your mind for the most part. But it all ties in together. Eating right, all the things that I'm going to go over. It also helps you with sleep as well. Number 5 is what we do here. Spend time with supportive friends and family. Who you have around you and the right environment that you're living around helps you with anxiety and depression, and somebody to talk to. Number 6, accept imperfections. Nobody's perfect. Surprise, surprise. And everybody has room to grow and room to look at themselves and see what they need to improve. Number 7, just what I was bringing up before, eat real, functional foods and drink lots of water. This replenishes your body for its own needs and helps you think and feel proper. 8, I'm a huge advocate on this one. I never was until about a year ago, is meditate. You could be sitting or moving, doing meditation. You don't have to close your eyes and drive or what. Meditation is a mind frame. It's about focusing on yourself inside you. Or you can take regular time to practice self-awareness practice, which is one of the things I'm going to go over as well. Number 9, practice forgiveness. We all need help doing this because as you release that negative energy in your body, it brings peacefulness to the other people, or you could write them off. And it gives you peace of mind knowing that you're doing the right thing. And that brings us to number 10, practice gratitude daily. We're brain injury survivors. We're caregivers. We're either giving or enjoying every moment we've got while we've got it and making the best of everything we have. When you practice gratitude, the word gratitude is about happiness. It's about feeling like a purpose, Either you're making somebody else happy or you're making yourself happy. Be gratitude. You're breathing, you're moving, you're able to think, you're able to do, Now you're thinking about what you can do, not what you can't do. Be grateful for those little things. A lot of us take that for granted. Let's see, I'm just checking the chat. Oh, thank you, Mayor. Okay, next one. Let's see. Mindfulness for mental health. This is a great one. I'm a thinker. I've been a theological person since I was a little kid. When I had bad dreams, I didn't cry to my parents about it. I went to school and started studying psychology. Mindfulness, how we think. Mindfulness is a buzzword these days and sometimes used in different ways, which can be confusing to a lot of people. But mindfulness is not complicated. It's simple. It's simply an awareness of the present moment, living in the now, with an attitude of openness and acceptance, open-minded and accepting the way things are. A simple practice can change our habitual reactions and emotional patterns and bring in a new perspective. And sometimes we all need a new perspective because sometimes we have down days. Sometimes you got to open your mind and go, really? Let's chill. And that's one of the things we're going to go over here. Number 1 is awareness. Awareness allows you to notice emotions, anxieties, negative perceptions, and self-talk as they arise and before they become entrenched. By noticing these things early, you can become more flexible in your responses. And number 2 is an open and accepting attitude, knowing that maybe you're wrong, or maybe I should look at things from a different perspective. We have somebody else that's joining in, Jordan. Okay, good. Hi, Jordan. We're just doing, I'm muting everybody. Okay, but you're more than welcome to write in the chat. So you could discuss.
Nigger. Cracker, nigger. Fuck me in my ass, Johnny.
Oh my God, here we go. Okay, remove.
Ah, fuck you, nigga. Fuck you, nigga. Nigga. Hey, what's up, Karen? Oh my God.
Okay, they're off the call. It's okay. That's a filtering process we got to do on live. Okay. So anyway, an open and accepting attitude allows you to accept whatever arises rather than try to suppress it, which doesn't work, or make a big deal of things. When you accept your emotions, you aren't struggling with an internal conflict, so you have more resources to deal positively with any situation. That really is any situation. You decide how it's going to affect you. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say? You can unmute yourself if you'd like. I'm going to unmute everybody. Okay, everybody's so quiet. So, all right, I'll continue reading then. This is a great one, and I like the imaging on here with the train. The train thing is a funny one. Like stopping a train. You can think in an emotional regulation like stopping a train. It works better if you can stop before the train, which is your emotions, is the train, starts rolling too fast. Like, you know, it's going overboard. You feel you're emotionally like you're starting to build up, you know. It also helps when your brakes work immediately without interference. Mindfulness lets you know right away that you need to stop and keeps thoughts and emotions from interfering. It's self-control. And sometimes with a lot of us, you know, me included, is impulse, especially when it's a serious reaction. Your first reaction is what you usually, boom, that comes out first. But I was talking about it earlier on our 3 o'clock call, is I try to practice what's called a 7 second rule. Sometimes it's a little less, but it's thinking before you speak, saying, where is this going to get me? Is this going to end up well? What are the circumstances going to be after? But it gives you time to breathe, think, and think before you speak. So that's a big one. All right, we got some messages here. Let me see. Yeah, he's blocked. My grandpa used to say, "Have an attitude of gratitude." Absolutely. Every day we're awake, there's something to be grateful for. I wake up every single day, and I wake up knowing that I have a good breath. So that's a good one. So I totally agree on that. We've got too many things that don't take it for granted. You know, the people we have around us, the people that care about us. We have loved ones. We're all each other's family here. You know, so it all plays a part together. We're in this together. It's a big one. So back to the stopping like a train. Think about a time when you got lost in worry, perhaps when a friend or a family didn't show up on time. Did you start creating stories and working yourself up about a traffic accident or another calamity? You know, you get built up because you get distressed, things like that. And you have to ask yourself, going, where's this going to get me? You know, is this going to make me feel better? Or is it going to make me feel worse if I think like this? So that's what you got to do. So next time you try a little mindful technique called stop and see if it helps, and wait a little more, wait with a little more comfort. And stop is slow down, take a breath, observe your body, your thoughts, and your feelings, and process your possibilities, then proceed, which applies to the same 7 second rule I was just talking about. Impulse control. Sandy, you said, what if that doesn't work? What do you do? Step away from the situation. That's a key. Know when to back off and say, okay, this isn't a good time for this. You take control of the situation. You could say, no, I'm not going to discuss this now. You take control of it. And then you either walk away, or you calm yourself down, or you do breathing, or, depending on the situation, there's a lot of variables that come into play with that. But I've done it where for me, I got in my car and I drove. I just said, I've had enough of this. We'll deal with this later. And I walk out. I get in my car and I go for a drive for an hour or something like that. I come back and I said, do you want to discuss this? Rationally discuss things, that kind of thing. So now, here is, I just read what you were saying, Sandy. You have anger issues. That may be some issues. That may be something you need to address with a doctor, because those anger issues usually are deeper seated and they stem from somewhere else. And that needs to be addressed. I went through that. I had resentment and things like that. And that's a little bit more in depth. But we could talk about that, Sandy, outside of the call here. I'm going to show you guys a little something here. It's going to be a sidetrack, but it's good. We're all going to do this together. We're going to try a short 5-minute meditation. And I want you guys to try to focus on this, pay attention, and see how you feel, okay? Just listen up. This is wonderful. Uh-oh, it didn't bring me to the link I wanted. Okay, we're not going to go over that right now then. Okay, we'll come back to that at another time. I also have this presentation. I could send any links or anything like that to you guys, so I could either email them to you or it's on Facebook. All right. Well, the meditation's 5 minutes, but I'd like everybody else to just, we'll do this together and we can have our own conversation here. I'm just reading the messages that are here. Okay, Sandy. Thank you, hon. I appreciate that. It's good. 4 type of therapies. Now we have somebody that's on our calls that I was hoping would make it for this. He's a little preoccupied, but he does art therapy and he's phenomenal at it. And but I like to touch base on this because I do a little bit of all of these 4, and I've done them. Since I had the brain injury, I did a lot of this, and it was very therapeutic for me. Creative art therapies are based on the premise that when someone works creatively, they become more expressive and communicative. Now, that's a big one because I lost my ability to speak after I had the brain injury. So music, a piano was in there. Well, actually, number one, I drew. And I don't know how some people are okay with tattoos, but when I was in my hospital bed, I drew the tattoo on my back and it says believe. And that was therapeutic for me, is about believing in what I could do and how I can get better, and believing in myself and my family and loved ones, and I can get past this and things like that. The second thing was music. They had a baby grand piano in the hospital, and I went nuts on that thing playing. And I'm not going to go into the whole, thing about that, but it was wonderful. That was my remedy for being able to express myself. Creative arts raises the awareness of issues and brings impetus for change. The creative work can involve music, art, dance, movement, or other creative activities. Some of these are described in more detail below. What is music theory? According to American Music Therapy Association, music therapy is the clinical and evidence-based use of music to accomplish individualized goals within a therapeutic relationship by a credentialed professional who has completed an approved music therapy program. I think that it's therapeutic without a therapist, depending on yourself. You can express yourself. Music therapy begins with a thorough assessment of identifying strengths and areas of need. You manage the role of music in the therapeutic process, the relationship. Oh, I clicked on something. There you go. The relationship and the approaches and interventions tailored to meet the needs you'd like. Art therapy. American Art Therapy Association states art therapy is a mental health profession that uses the creative process of art making to improve and enhance the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of individuals of all ages. And anybody that's been with kids and adults knows this, that expression coloring, crayons, anything with art, making little crafts. It's all wonderful, and it's a good distraction, but it's a release. The premise that the creative process allows for artistic self-expression, which helps individuals solve conflicts, manage behavior, improve self-esteem, develop self-awareness and insight, manage stress, and develop interpersonal skills. The art therapy process integrates theories of human development, art of visual arts, and the process of creating. Art therapy uses creative process, incorporates drawing, painting, sculpting, and various other media to meet the needs and preferences of the individual. And I mean, anybody can be creative doing all different types of things in so many different ways. And using your imagination, you could come up with anything. Oh, here we go. Let me see. Well, we got a good message here. Let's see. Wow, somebody wrote a book on here. Wow. Okay. Oh, Kathy.
Yes, I was hoping you wouldn't call my name.
Oh, well, it's okay. It's okay. We can all read it, but I don't have to read it all out. It's fine. I'm sorry. This is wonderful. Surrounding yourself with positive. No, what you wrote is great. Surrounding yourself with positive and believing people. I'm going to go over all of these types of things. Forgiveness or be kind to those who can't be kind. Okay, I'm not going to go into other this, but I'm glad you wrote this. This is wonderful. Um, because some people might be funny about it. And Meredith said, I do scrapbooking and photography. That's wonderful. That's a great little craft. That's awesome. I got two more, and these are fun. I mean, I wish I was able to do it, but I'm getting a little old. Um, arthritis. What is dance and movement therapy? The American Dance Therapy Association defines dance movement therapy as the psychotherapeutic use of movement to further the emotional, cognitive, physical, and social integration of an individual. And there's so many different ways to do that. That's amazing. I mean, that I used to love to dance. That was a big thing. My wife is like, really? I mean, she's seen me dance, and I love it, but not the way I used to. I used to be really into it, salsa, the whole bit. And it's just such a good way of freedom of expression. The focus of the therapeutic process is the movement that emerges within the therapeutic relationship. This movement simultaneously serves as the material for assessment and as a means of developing therapeutic interventions. Dance movement uses communicative, expressive, and adaptive behaviors and interactions in treating both groups and individuals. The client adapts the approach to meet the individualized and specialized needs of an individual. If you have ever seen anybody dancing by themselves, I love the beach. And you could just sit there and just go to town, and it's nobody's business. Nobody has a right to say anything. And they're just one with nature and just loving life. I mean, that's awesome. It's really, really, really cool. You guys that's wonderful. I love the chat you guys are having. That's cool. And yeah, Kathy, you're awesome. You're amazing. I love it. Okay. And the last one, which I love. I love this one too. What is drama therapy? Drama therapy is the intentional use of drama and or theater processes to achieve therapeutic goals. This is role playing, and anybody can do this and have a ball. And it's wonderful, especially in a group session, but even one-on-one with somebody to have fun. We all do it. If we have pets, we do it with pets. It's drama therapy. You play a role with a pet. Anybody who has dogs and cats and things like that, you could do this. Drama may incorporate improvising, theater, games, enactment, and storytelling, depending on the client's needs, interests, and abilities. Drama therapy is practiced in schools, hospitals, private practice facilities, nursing homes, shelters, and among others. According to the NADT, drama therapy is active and experimental. This approach can provide the context for participants to tell their stories, set goals, solve problems, express feelings, and achieve catharsis. That's wonderful because we all have experiences, and we can demonstrate those experiences by role playing to do like an experience that you went through and how you went through it and how you dealt with it, good or bad, in any way, shape, or form. It's wonderful. Therapy can do. Oh, there we go. I will attest to dance. I'd encourage TBIers to use YouTube. YouTube is great for everything. I mean, I use it for meditation and things like that too.
Mike, I want to apologize. One of my posts doubled itself, so I apologize. It appears to be very long.
No. It's okay. Don't
Anyway,
worry.
I just wanted to mention that. Okay.
There. Meredith said the problem with drama is memorization, but I understand what you're saying. Improv is everything because you could take anything and make it into like a scenario, like a comedian does. Improv, you're just going with the flow and you're acting out an experience that you once had. And sometimes you don't remember it, but you can be it. You can make it happen as you see fit, which is wonderful. And it's fun. Like I said, I don't know how to express it, but improvisation is fun and it can be rewarding. And even if it's you're reviewing a horrible experience, You're sharing it with somebody, and there's a therapeutic process going out too, because somebody understands and they can relate, or they can sympathize and correlate their own ideas and impressions about it. So it's a win-win. It always is a win-win, to me anyway. How do creative therapy or creative art therapies benefit well-being and health? This is great. I gotta move the screen around a little here. Creative art therapies share a commitment to the expressive action that engages emotions in a direct and physical way, an ability to generate creative energy as a healing force for the mind, body, and spirit, and the belief that the creative imagination can find its way throughout the most perplexing and complex problems and conflicts. That's put in scientific terms what I was just saying before. They put it a lot nicer than I did. Each therapy is influenced by its unique medium or art form, giving it the flexibility to meet the complex needs of each person. While commonalities exist among the various therapies, there are also a myriad of differences that come through them. That's absolutely true. And it opens the minds of others, which is great. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Here we go again. Let's see. Music therapies. Oh, wait, let me see if the one is there good evidence? Evidence about these things. Music therapy, there's a wide array of research-based evidence to support the use of music theory. Much of this research is published in the Journal of Music Therapy, which is available through the American Music Therapy Association, AMTA. It also includes articles on more clinical applications, music therapy in a variety of settings and clinical areas. Music therapy research also appears in a variety of healthcare-related journals. That kind of stuff can be found. I can help you guys with the links. I said I can give anybody this PowerPoint presentation or the video about it. They can look these things up. Art therapy, same thing. The leading publication for this field is the Journal of American Art Therapy Association. This journal presents articles with diverse perspectives on art therapy, as well as topics related to the professional practices and research. And the link is right there. Dance therapy, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know. I have to go through all the reading here, but it works. It wins. It's a win-win thing. You know, if you're able to do it, go for it. And you don't have to be all that great at dancing to have a good time doing it. So I'm just saying, each one of these things, we're not looking for perfection. It's about therapy. It's about making yourself a release, you know, giving yourself a positive enjoyment out of each one of them. All of them work, all of them. Here's a big one that I'd love to talk about. Let me read these messages we got here in the chat room. Yeah, everybody responds differently from those therapies. Absolutely. And Will, you're so right. I tried. Okay, like I was doing, telling us ways. Probably like me, and I don't like people telling me this will cure. There is no cure. That's a big one. It's therapy. It is what you get out of it. You know. So that's a big that's a big thing, which is wonderful. It's just opening your mind, the possibilities of what you can do to help yourself. And you don't have to be great at it. Like I said, you could. It's good. It's like word puzzles. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be good at it, but it's therapeutic. It's just getting your mind off stressors is what this type of things do. And you can do it, and you're doing something productive, even if it's only a little productive. It's productive. Okay, on to the next topic here. And we'll have discussions, of course. I don't want to take up everybody's whole night here. Relaxation techniques. There are many ways to enhance your healthy behaviors and reduce your reliance on destructive habits. To start, you can learn on how to turn off your body's fight or flight reflex through breathing exercises and relaxation techniques. Here are some simple stress-reducing strategies to help lessen the impact of stress on your health and well-being. Take a sip of coffee. Anyway, practice mindful relaxation. It all starts within your brain. Mindful relaxation is an effective way to combat stress. With a little bit of practice, you'll learn how to shift into relaxation mode. You're in control, and you just have to train yourself. With a little practice, you can learn how to shift into relaxation mode. When done successfully, the relaxation response increases alpha brainwaves activity and lowers your blood pressure, your pulse, respiration rate, metabolic rate, oxygen consumption, anxiety, and produces a greater sense of well-being. It's therapeutic. Anything that brings more oxygen to your brain helps, especially us. It's good. Over time, you'll develop an ability to shift into a more relaxed state of mind in the midst of any stressful situations. It's self-discipline. Try these steps to help you achieve mindful relaxation. I get, what is it, 5 steps here. Commit to an uninterrupted length of time each day to do your practice. You might begin with 5 minutes and increase from there. 20 minutes of relaxation once or twice a day is optimal. Choose a quiet place. Turn off the television, the radio, computer, and yes, your telephone. I'm a culprit. Find a comfortable body position. You could be sitting anywhere, anything, wherever you'd like. You can sit or recline in a chair or settle comfortably on the floor. Make sure you feel supported. Focus on the repetition of a word, a sound, a prayer, or your breath flowing in and out of your body. And this goes along with, it's like meditation, but you could be thinking about anything you'd like. Create a positive state of mind. While you may not always be able to block out worries or negative thoughts, you don't need to attach to them. Let them float by like clouds in the sky. That's a wonderful thing to think of, like the ocean, the sky, wind blowing, the trees, something that makes you feel good and gets your mind off of what's going on.
Sandy had a question.
What's up, William?
Sandy had a question in chat.
How do you deal with the stigma of the whole thing? What's the whole thing, Sandy?
You can unmute to speak, Sandy, if you wish.
I don't think anybody's muted anymore. Unmute all. Oh, Meredith, she had her hand up. No, nobody's muted right now. Okay, let me see. Chat. Stigma is a hard thing. People are set in their ways and are not informed. I keep quiet with everything I do. I'm not sure what we're getting into a conversation about because I don't know what the stigma is about. Being quiet doesn't mean that you're reclusive. Being quiet, I was always quiet growing up. Being quiet means you're thinking out the process of what you're wanting to say, and that's wonderful. You know, there's a time and a place for it. And I mean, don't just be spoken to, but there's a time, you know your place, and then make sure your communication is valid and to the point and things like that. There's a lot of different ways of dealing with that. So I got 2 messages here. You guys can speak. Nobody's muted right now.
I think if you stay quiet, you end up pulling yourself deeper into the vortex for which you're trying to escape from.
That's true too. That's what I said about being reclusive is not good. Socializing is better than being quiet. I mean, there's a time, you know, if you're in chaos, be quiet because it's not going to help you. But no, socializing and being, talking to somebody that you need to is huge.
I guess what I meant, somebody mentioned the stigmatism.
No, not a stigmatism, a stigma.
I mean, sorry. Oh, well, is if you feel that what you're doing is stigmatizing you, is that the right word? Then you don't have to tell people what you're doing. If that was the question, is don't announce what you're doing so that you don't feel stigmatized.
Oh, well, that has
Make
nothing to do
sense?
with what I'm talking about here, though. You don't have,
Okay.
yeah. Um, I mean, the stigma, she might be talking the stigma of being, a stigma is like a negative interpretation of things like being disabled. That's a stigma.
Right. It sounded like a stigma of, see, I couldn't understand, if, of doing one of these things. That's what I took it as. Um,
Oh, okay. Oh,
like doing one of these things might create a stigma. Well, I wouldn't tell what I was doing, would be the best solution. That I took it as that.
yeah. Meredith just said a prejudice. Yeah, there, I mean, if you want to do mindful relaxation, and even if you have to lock yourself in a bathroom to clear your head, it's a time, you make the time and place. If there's a stigma that goes along with it, somebody judge you, there's a problem with that person. It's
Yeah,
not,
right. If you're
it's,
trying to save yourself from, you know,
right. Well,
that
it's
issue,
all about relaxing. This is all about, like I said earlier when I started this,
right?
finding a happy medium for yourself.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, I'm going to start reading again. I think everybody got that one clear. Breathing techniques. This is a huge one. I love this. I love this so much. I learned how to do this when I was taking singing lessons when I was 17 years old. I was doing breathing exercises, but I realized how much I just chilled out from doing that before singing. But it's wonderful for your mind and body. Another way to master stress is to be aware of your breathing. When people feel panicked or unconsciously stressed, they tend to take short, shallow gasps of air. The resulting lack of oxygen restricts blood flow and causes muscles to tense. It also stops the correct amount of oxygen going to your brain. Anybody that's a stroke survivor knows how important that is. By allowing more air to enter your body, you slow down your heart rate, you lower your blood pressure, and you break the stress cycle. 2 minute relaxation techniques. And this is something that I sent this out earlier today to help out with somebody else. You focus your attention on your breathing. You take a few deep breaths and exhale slowly. And I was joking because I'm going to give you these 6 steps, but it doesn't, like, you don't rush through these. The whole idea is doing them slow, and if you have to repeat it, you do them over and over again. So focus your attention on your breathing. Take a few deep breaths, exhaling slowly. Mentally scan your body. Notice areas that feel tense or cramped up. Quietly loosen them. Let go of as much tension as you can. Rotate your head in a smooth, slow, circular motion once or twice, avoiding any movements that may cause pain. Roll your shoulders forward and backward several times. Let all of your muscles completely relax. This is my problem because I carry all my stress in my lower back and my shoulders. Roll your shoulders forward and backward several times. Let all your muscles completely relax. And then recall a pleasant thought, event, or a place. Your mind takes over everything. Take deep breaths and exhale slowly. And you could repeat the whole thing over and over again just until you feel content, relax, and you're not as tense and you can think and process properly. Imagery. This is a nice one. Imagery exercises use creative imagination to picture scenarios that relax and heal you. We talked before about the mountains, the breeze, the ocean. This could be done on your own or with a resource guiding you, which is called a guided imagery, like a magazine, a book, something with pictures. It just takes your focus somewhere else. A common relaxing practice is to mentally picture yourself in a pleasant place that puts your mind and body at ease. For example, imagine yourself lying on a beach with the sun shining, listening to the waves. It's important to imagine a place that has a positive association for you. An ocean beach may not be a pleasant place for everyone, especially if you were in a boat wreck or something like that. There's somewhere, you know what I mean? A park. You could just think of anything like that. You guys
I was
don't.
thinking Finn, you'd say something like that.
What's that?
And I had a sinking feeling you'd say something like that.
You and your little one-liners, you're funny, Will. Here's an important one. Add body exercises. Having awareness of where you are stores stress in your body is another important part of stress reduction. Learn how to release tension in your body by trying the following exercises. Goes back to what I was talking about before. Body scan. This is along the lines of closing your eyes and listening to a guided meditation technique. I wrote that wrong. Meditation technique. Progressive muscle relaxation. You tense a group of muscles as you are breathing in, and you relax them as you breathe out. You work on your muscle groups in a certain order. When your body is physically relaxed, you cannot feel anxious. Practicing progressive muscle relaxation for a few weeks will help you get better at this skill. You know, the more practice you do, the more it'll affect you and help you out. It may help to use an auto recording until you learn all the muscle groups in order. And that's why, again, the meditation videos that I have on our website, they talk about these kinds of things, and they also have time frames. So if you only have 15 minutes, or you only have 7 minutes, or you have 40 minutes, you can do what is comfortable with your schedule. Shoulder and neck relaxation. Keep your head squarely over your shoulders and your back straight. Slowly turn your head to the right until you feel it stretch in the side of your neck and shoulder. Hold the stretch for 15 to 30 seconds, and then slowly turn your head forward again. Repeat it on your left side. Learn more about yoga. This is great. I studied a lot of these and did research on them too, but you guys can look them up, Google them. It says, in addition, mindful movement practices such as yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong are excellent for reducing body tension and stress and increasing flexibility, equanimity. These exercises are becoming increasingly popular and common, and they're available at many local community centers, schools, and health clubs. I like my living room. It doesn't cost nothing. I don't have to worry about getting there and falling asleep or anything. This is something, the next slide is something that a lot of people don't do and are unaware of, and that's why I wanted to bring this up. Biofeedback. People think you have to go to a doctor's office to get this kind of thing. No. Biofeedback uses a measuring device to assess how relaxed you are and teaches you how to relax more effectively. Biofeedback equipment monitors systems of which you are not normally aware, such as blood pressure, pulse, temperature, and brainwave patterns. As you practice biofeedback, you develop the ability to change these systems. For example, lower your blood pressure. And this, as I said, is a home remedy. You could try a simple biofeedback exercise on your own, using a thermometer as a guide. Hold the thermometer between your index finger and your thumb and note the temperature. Then complete one of the relaxation techniques previously mentioned, and after your session, measure your temperature again. It's a simple process. If you're interested in further exploring biofeedback, you can also consult a psychologist or other health provider who works with it, you know, and you can get more in depth, especially if you've got issues with blood pressure and like extreme anxiety and depression. Very, very important because it's your mind, it's your brain, it's how you take things. Now I got a little one here that's fun. I wrote this quote years ago, and I put it up here in the thing. If you're still looking for that one person who could change your life, take a look in the mirror. I love that because you're in control of where you go from here. Thank you, Kathy. I just saw your message. All right. What are thoughts and emotions? And a lot of people don't understand this, but this is being published live, so I'm gonna go into more detail about these things. Educate each other. Thoughts and emotions are intricately related and can experience together, but they are distinct. Oh, I put this. This is a little quote I wrote. Don't miss out on something that could be amazing just because you thought it'd be difficult. Challenge yourself and overcome, and you will. What are thoughts? Thoughts are mental cognitions, our ideas, opinions, and beliefs about ourselves and the world around us. They include the perspectives we bring into any situation or experience that color our point of view, for better, for worse, or for neutral. An example of a long-lived thought is an attitude, which develops as thoughts are repeated over and over and are reinforced. While thoughts are shaped by life experiences, genetics, and education, they are generally under conscious control. In other words, if you're aware of your thoughts and attitudes, you can change them. Too many times I've heard countless people say, "This is who I am." No, this is who you want to be. If you want to change your point of view about something, you are in control of how you take it. And I'm sure that's always open for our group, like your own, everybody has their opinions about that kind of thing. But if you don't like something, you could always change it. Always. Your point of view is always flexible. I know we're going through a whole political situation right now, and people are flip-flopping all over the place because they're changing their minds. Good or bad, or whichever, left or right, you want to look at. I don't care. We don't get into politics on here. But everybody can change their mind, their point of view. Anybody can, good or bad.
Well, I don't know about everybody else, but I know before the stroke, I was so high strung. And the stroke, I mean, just the brain damage just intensified. I can't even like get it to stop no matter what I do.
Well, yeah, that's a whole different thing, though. That's different than what I'm talking about. That gets more into a cognitive approach, um, not about thoughts and emotions, but regulation. That's the big difference between that. All right. What are emotions? It may be useful to think of emotions as the flow and experience of feelings. For example, joy, sadness, anger, or fear. It's the emotion is the what comes out of the way you're thinking. That's why I said they work together, but they're two totally different things. It's more communicative. Emotions can be triggered by something external, from seeing a friend suffer or watching a movie, or something internal, like an upsetting memory or something catastrophic that happened in the past. While emotions are universal, each person may experience them and respond to them in different ways. That's along the lines of what I was getting at before. Some people may struggle with understanding what emotions they're experiencing. Emotions serve to connect us with others because we can communicate how we're feeling and you can understand the level of how something is, the intensity that goes along with something. And it also helps cultivate strong social bonds. And that's similar to the friendships that we have together here. Very big, because we talk about this all the time. Nobody understands brain injury survivors like brain injury survivors. No matter what kind of brain injury that they had, we get it, So that's why we have these great social bonds between us. We're very emotional, all of us, all of us. We're heartfelt. We don't take things for granted. We're emotional. We hold things very close to our hearts. That's our emotions. And how we act on that's the part of it. What influences emotions? This goes into what I was just saying, which is great. Researchers such as Nicholas Christakis, I say his name in Greek, and James Fowler, authors of Connected, have also found the emotions are contagious, which is funny. We have a tendency as human beings to mimic each other's outward states, for example, by smiling at someone when they smile at us. And our outward states that affect our internal ones. Smiling can actually make you feel happy. Emotions can also be influenced by other factors. And this is funny because knowing different cultures around the world, I've seen it. Cultural traditions and beliefs can affect the way a group or an individual expresses their emotions. There are some cultures which it deemed bad manners to express emotions in a way that may be considered healthy or appropriate in other cultures, like eye contact. That's a big one in different cultures. You don't make eye contact. Smiling at somebody is disrespectful, that kind of thing. Bowing, you guys have all seen, the routines. Genetics, or more specifically, brain and personality structure, including self-control, can affect the emotional expressions of an individual or a family. While a person's genetic makeup cannot be altered, the brain is another story, according to neuroscientist Richard Davidson. He has identified 6 distinct emotional styles that are based upon the structure in our brains, and they can be reshaped with practice. And that's a whole other topic of conversation that you can go into, because it's neurological, about impulse and emotions and frontal lobes, and you guys know. Physical conditions. This is an interesting one, because this is what my wife's going through with having 4 brain tumors, and they're on her pituitary gland. So physical conditions do have an influence on your emotions. Brain tumors, strokes, Parkinson's disease, multiple sclerosis, Alzheimer's, and metabolic diseases such as diabetes and thyroid disorders can also cause a person's emotional responses to change dramatically. Always. Because not just your viewpoints, but chemistry, your body's chemistry from these things, all of those neurological impairments all have an impact on your emotions. It's fact. It's not opinions. It's not a personality. It's fact. How the level of how they impact your emotions can vary, but they do. What we think impacts the way we feel. Oh my God, I live by this. Thoughts and emotions have a profound effect on one another. Thoughts can trigger emotions, worrying about an upcoming job interview or any life different that's coming up. I just found out I gotta buy a new house because the people we're renting from are selling it because of a death in their family. Catastrophic. And also serves an appraisal of that emotion, thus it isn't realistic fear. In addition, how we attend to and appraise our lives has an effect on how we feel. It affects our entire body, not just emotions. For example, a person with a fear of dogs is likely hyper attentive to the dog across the street and appraises the approach of the dog as threatening, which leads to emotional distress. Another person who appraises the dog's approach as friendly will have a very different emotional response to the same situation. We talk about this all the time. You decide on how you're going to feel about situations. You could stub your toe and cry about it, but if you got a whole bunch of stuff going on, you stub your toe and you could fall on the floor and whine, oh my God, I can't take this anymore. One more thing and I'm going to, that kind of routine. What we think impacts how we feel. You decide if you're going to let it get to you or you're going to move on. Oh.
Right, Kathy.
We got a We have to remember this when we have a service dog. It can be serious or another. Absolutely. Can we change our thoughts and emotions? This goes back to what I was saying before. Probably because I read this and I wrote this up. So it's on my mind. We tend to believe that emotions are just part of us and can't be changed. Research, however, has established that emotions are malleable. They can be changed by altering an external situation, like a divorcing an abusive spouse, shifting our attention, which chooses to focus on a more positive aspect of the situation, which I talked about earlier. Reappraising a situation, like an upcoming test, as an opportunity for learning, not an assessment of my personal worth. if you're in school or a student or something like that. How we choose to live our lives has a tremendous power over the way we feel every day. Absolutely. A product of your environment. Sonia Lamberski and other positive researchers have found that 50% of happiness is determined by your set point or your genetics, and 10% is determined by your circumstances, financially, health, living situation. The other 40% is based upon your own intentional efforts to become happier, meaning you have a big say in how you feel, which is exactly what I was talking about before about stubbing your toe. Certain types of mental training, such as mindfulness and positive thinking, can affect your perception of the world and makes us feel calmer, more resilient, and happier. Other researchers have identified many helpful attitudes, such as forgiveness, gratitude, and kindness, that can be cultivated with practice, what I talked about earlier. If you're aware of your thoughts and emotions, you can choose to change them. Self-reflection. Look inside yourself. Learning more about relationships. Like I said about go answer that. My pizza might be there. Learn more about relationships. This may be an evolutionary purpose of emotions. People who were able to form strong bonds and emotional ties become a part of a community and were more likely to find the support and protection necessary for survival. That's us. People the world over have different ideas, beliefs, and opinions, different thoughts, but they have very similar, if not identical, feelings. We are human beings. We are the same people, regardless to cultures, skin, lifestyles, whatever. We all have similar, if not identical, feelings. All of us. Happy, sad, cry, whatever, anything. The key is to communicate and talk to each other and learn about how each other thinks. Talking to each other is the best remedy to fix any situation, to lessen stress. If you can't, you got to find the situation that's better for you. And that gets more in depth. Social support. This is my big one because this is what we do. The term social support often appears in discussion of relationships. Social support means having friends and other people, including family, to turn to in times of need or crisis, to give you a broader focus and positive self-image. Feeling good about yourself. Social support enhances the quality of life and provides a buffer against adverse life events. To anything, good or, we all have struggles. It's part of life, ups and downs. Social support can take different forms. There's emotional, sometimes called non-tangible. Support refers to the actions of people to make someone else feel cared for. Empathy, Instrumental support refers to the physical, such as money and housekeeping, like you need support doing things and getting by and, paying bills, all that kind of stuff. Informational support provides information to help someone. So I try to do 2 out of those 3 things because I can't give anybody money and I'm not helping anybody housekeeping because you all live too far away. But we're always there for each other. And like I said earlier, right before this, communicate. Communicate. Because when you don't think you have resources around you, there are. You just, sometimes you don't know where they're at. Social support, whether from a trusted group or a valued individual, has been shown to reduce psychological and physiological consequences of stress and may enhance immune function. Yes, social support and having support emotionally helps your immune system. Social networks, whether formal, such as a church or a social club, or informal meeting, like with friends, like we do here and things like that, provide a sense of belonging, security, and community. In fact, social support is now proven to be a literal lifesaver. People that are supported by close relationship with friends or family or fellow members of church, work, or other support groups are less vulnerable to ill health and premature death. Individuals afflicted with leukemia and heart disease have higher survival rates if they have extensive social support services. This is also strong between social support and measures of well-being. Those who have close personal relationships cope better with various stressors, including bereavement, job loss, rape, and illness. We got some messages here. Meredith said it must be nice. Okay, what did I miss here? The whole window. I see. Okay. Oh, see, I'm not seeing everything. How do I get up here? Right there we go. The stories I heard from long ago were families growing up with huge families supporting each other. Now life is different because everything isn't as simple. Support is essential. Your group is great. Oh, thank you. Well, that's the thing. I mean, the family size difference in culture and American culture has gotten much, much smaller. And we do have to reach out to each other in different ways, in different forms, you know, where there's understanding in groups. Whether it's a church or a social group or even an outing, going out to dinner with other people. Little things like that are so wonderful because it gives you a chance to release, it gives you a chance to forget and get out and do things. She says, Kathleen says, interestingly, some studies show that places that give less support is churches. Some are trying to give more education to churches, not putting down churches, but that was seen as a need. Yes, that is a whole slew of we could have a whole nother call about that, but I don't like to get into religion. But if you want to go that route, it's people, you go to church and a lot of people don't have a chance to discuss things together. They go there to listen to one person talking, a pastor, a preacher, you know, whatever you want to call them. And the focus is on God and things like that, but not socializing and venting and being that way. And of course is the other thing. I'll just say not politics, churches and money. That becomes a whole bunch of different other things too, because the focus on the church is to bring in money so they can keep the church open, I guess you could say. Meredith, I want to talk to you one-on-one. We're going to, if you're having a hard time finding assistance, we'll work on that together. I want to get more in depth in a conversation with you on that one, just like I would with anybody else. We have a person that was on the call this week. We have a person that's on the call regularly that this week on Sunday, I spent 5 hours on the phone with her because she didn't have anybody that understands that she needed to speak to, but she wanted to speak to a brain injury survivor that understands her situation. And I've been on the phone with this lady every day this week, but Sunday night was a big catastrophe at her house of verbal abuse, and not physical abuse, but she felt threatened and overwhelmed cognitively and everything else. And it had a physical aspect on her, the wear and tear, even up to today. And today's Thursday and it happened Sunday. So yeah, like I said, we all have to be supportive of each other. And Meredith, I will talk to you. I'll be free tomorrow. We need to talk. And I know the time difference and everything. But I'm here for all of you. Any of you and all of you. Any way I can help out, I'll try my best. Okay? Okay. Where was I? Let's see. Trying to be polite. Okay. Oh, that might have been talk about the religion thing. We're talking about the lifesaver thing, and yeah, this is what happened. She felt like I saved her life, and she's like, "Thank you, I love you, and I appreciate you." I said, "This is what we're here for. We're a family together, guys. We really, really are. You know, we get it together." You're welcome, Meredith. And that's the end of the presentation. So I could stop the share, and we're open for a conversation together now. So I'm gonna stop the live video chat. Bear with me 1 second. How do I do that? I don't know. I've never done that before. This is the first time. Okay, here it is. Stop live stream. So I want to tell people that are watching this on Facebook, we do this every Thursday night, different topics. Sometimes it's open mic and we just have a nice chat together. But if you guys are curious, message me directly or look at our website, ASBISG.org. That stands for a simple brain injury support group, the initials, .org. So, or call me, that's it, 570-599-6424. So thank you guys on Facebook Live that listened in. I'll go back and check messages later. All right, and we're just gonna have a chat now. Take care on Facebook. Okay, that's that now. In Texas, I have some places, but I don't think anyone is in Texas. Kathy, I work in a brain injury facility in Los Angeles, and they do have one in Texas too. Very cool. Nobody has to be muted now. We can all talk to each other. It's just us. Unmute all. There we go. Oh, I already got on. Oh, she turned the camera back on.
Good job, Michael. That was great.
That was great.
Yeah,
You can
that was
turn my
great.
video on. We'll see what we get.
Got dark in here.
Okay.